Spain in the contemporary ages, the 19th century.
A regency is when the king or the queen is too young and one of his or her parents takes the throne until the king or the queen is old enough to assume the throne. So in the 19th century we have two regencies. The regency of Maria Cristina of Bourbon, because Isabel II was too young, even though she was queen when she was 13 years old. And then we have another regency with Alfonso XIII, because also he was too young, and it was the regency of Maria Cristina of Habsburg. So again, a regency, it happens when the king or queen is too young and one of his or her parents takes the throne and assumes the responsibility. I hope you understood this. Any questions? You can write them down in the comments. A civil war is a war between people that live in the same country. We could say that it's a war between brothers and sisters. In the 19th century, in the contemporary ages in Spain, we have first a sort of civil war between Carlos IV and Fernando VII, and later we'll have the Carlist Wars. That those are
Spain in the contemporary ages.
Civil wars, internal civil wars. Two events that happened at the beginning of the contemporary ages. Well, two very important events. Could be the French Revolution in 1789 and also the Industrial Revolution with the invention of the steam engine that changed. I'll write it here. Steam engine. The steam engine started to make that factories were much more, we started working with machines. We started to have transportation and looms and many other advantages in the way things were produced. The French Revolution happened in 1789. People rose up against the injustices of absolutism. I'll write it here, absolutism. Absolutism is when one person rules a country with no control, with no limitations. There isn't a constitution. There are no laws that restrict the power of that person. So the 19th century is the change from political systems that were more absolutists to other political systems that were more democratic. Even though it was a path that was difficult, and sometimes some liberties were conquered and then we went back some steps and then forward and then backward. It depended on the moment of history. In 1873, it was the first Spanish Republic. A political system or organization without a king. But it only lasted 1 year. There was a military uprising in 1874, and it was the beginning of the reign of Alfonso XII. As you can see here, in the 1808, It was the beginning of the War of Independence. Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Spain, and this was the reaction to that invasion. But in the meanwhile, Carlos IV and Fernando VII were fighting against each other, and it was a kind of a civil war. Yes, as you can see here, during the reign of Isabel II, we had two different political parties. The moderate liberals, they were represented by Narváez, and they supported the wealthy classes. And the progressives, they were defended by Espartero, and they represented the middle and the lower classes and wanted to bring greater liberties to more sectors of the population.
Spain in the contemporary ages.